So I, like many of you guys, have used technology company services like email messaging and thinking that with it being free that it's extremely useful to use, but at the end of the day, what you probably recognize is that they're utilizing your data to either advertise to you or to provide that sort of marketing services to other companies that can advertise to you or seek out your information or use your information against you in the long run. The company that we're talking about today helps prevent that service, and they've been working with SWIS laws recently that have been passed to avoid, say, things like the Patriot Act of the United States, to be able to not necessarily look into all your messages or your data or your emails or your calendars or something of the like. GlobeX data is truly helping in this sort of space. We're going to run through the investor presentation today. We're going to talk about the total addressable market. We're going to talk about the whole bunch of things with respect to them potentially also uplisting to the NASDAQ. And this is going to be a two-part sort of video. We're fortunate enough to get Elaine to talk to us in the coming weeks and have an interview with him to be able to help bring up some more light on GlobeX data in the future. So this is a relatively new company in a relatively new growing space, cybersecurity being that space. The total addressable market is going to be extremely massive in the coming years. We'll touch on that in just a second. But just like I mentioned to you guys in the beginning of this specific video, they have a unique proposition with respect to being able to help with encryption from messaging, emails, a whole bunch of suite of different items throughout an entire sort of office suite that we kind of take for granted when we use something like a Facebook or a Google. And we'll touch a little bit about the protection of the encryption that GlobeX is providing when we actually have a side-by-side comparison later on in this presentation, looking at all those different sort of platforms that we utilize today and the sort of, I guess, workarounds that you have in each of them where GlobeX actually provides that extra step of security. So what I'm talking about specifically is a unique proposition that GlobeX has by providing basically compliance with Swiss federal data protection laws and basically not allowing your data to be observed by the US, basically subjecting your data and everything to the US Patriot Act and US Cybersecurity Act of 2015 or the Cloud Act of 2019 as well. They're utilizing a proprietary technology such as virtual vaults and Helix technology, no open source, and they're utilizing their own hardware and cloud systems on their own servers. They're not using Amazon AWS, they're not using Microsoft, and that is to help with security in Switzerland. All those documents and everything will be stored within Switzerland, where basically have inability to be able to be tampered with comparatively to, say, Amazon Web Services or other sort of platforms. They use 2048-bit encryption standards and AES 256 minimum encryption, biometric login credentials, and triple layer encryption. So majority of the time when you have to access this data, you have to utilize thumbprints or means otherwise. Just as I had mentioned, 100% owned infrastructure, no Amazon Web Services, Google infrastructure, Microsoft Azure, or any other competitors as well. A unique environment for secure data, communications, management with real privacy. All servers are inspected manually by internal engineering prior to configuration, and it's rich in features, unlimited scalability, and more than 10 languages that serve customers and different governments around the world. Total US cybersecurity market in 2022 is worth about $58 billion, 70 million active users that you have the potential that are either going against privacy advocation or anti-big tech these days, as you're seeing a lot of different companies basically silence or mute data or basically unlist data that you have on specific platforms. You have 30 million small businesses in the United States as well. And if you look at the specifics for global, you have basically where you are today at $146 billion addressable market, growing at a 9.8% compound annual growth rate to 2027 of $178 billion. So huge in that respect. And a few statistics over here to the right is 80% of reported security incidents were phishing attacks, basically saying, hey, sign up with this link, or basically, and I get these at work as well all the time, 75% are phishing addresses found through web searches, and then 48% are malicious email attachments like office files or something of the like. So huge trends going on. as everyone knows, spoofing medical notifications, people saying, hey, your social security, you're getting phone calls all the time. And so that's part of the beauty with this software, is that you don't have to sign up with a phone number, you don't have to sign up with another email address. It's basically utilizing your biometric data to be able to sign up for these services. So some other global cybersecurity statistics that are going on in the world: 94% of cybersecurity attacks begin with spear phishing email types to infect devices. $20 billion worth of ransomware damages costing in 2021 alone. And I'm sure people have heard some of the pipelines that have been hacked and some of these other companies that have been basically attacked, where they either had to pay some sort of ransom or they basically just lose valuable data. And then that data gets put on the dark net, and who knows what those people are potentially doing with that data. And a lot of times you find out about it months after it actually occurs. So it's that sort of stuff that as your data and everything is stored on all these different websites, it makes you start to think, what information have you readily put out there with Facebook, with Twitter, with all these other sites as well, where they're offering some sort of free service, you're giving out free data in return that could be used against you. Come to think about it, how sensitive is the online banking data that we have in the 21st century? $1.8 billion worth of losses, 4 times higher than the ransomware in the USA alone. 164 million stolen records in 2019 alone. 28 million cyber attacks in Africa alone. 56% of all data breaches take 6 months to be discovered. 80% payment card related data breaches. 75% rise in the invoice and payment frauds occurring in 2020, which has been a huge growing space ever since a lot of people have been working from home, and data isn't necessarily in a, say, secure office environment, as people are sort of working from trending at home and storing data on personal computers and stuff of the like. Cyber attacks are 300 times more likely to hit financial institutions and companies from other industries as well. So keep that in mind as you are, say, doing any sort of personal data, transferring any data on even a public network, the impact that that might have on, say, your banking credentials getting out into the world. So a bunch of different other items that you can potentially look at: identity theft, ransomware, unencrypted data, insider threats, employee using the device to access bank services or anything of the like within your own company. So that sort of material. It just goes on to tell you a little bit more about the IT security and stuff of the like. So how to secure, well, there's a mail, messenger, their suite or their pro product differ. And we'll touch on that in just a couple seconds. But you guys have already noticed, all the different hacks that have been going on. Large data hacks, mass virus infections, technical glitches, where 44 million Office users with the same username and password, basically coding, lack of security. We're just giving up. Google lost access to their entire facility for a day due to simple problems like some of the coding that they had in there. So we're going away, I think, in some of these big mega cloud providers and big tech into more security-focused solution providers, which comes secure, right? So what do? They protect data and communications for consumers, enterprises, public entities, and they provide proprietary technology to the highest grade encryption combined with SWIS data privacy laws. So US Patriot Act, I'm sorry, you can't get involved. Basically, they have a multitude of different products here. More specifically, you have Secure Messenger, which is an encrypted and private messaging app that offers maximum security using their proprietary code. Basically encrypts all the communications end-to-end, group chats, files, photos, self-deletes chats, make sure nothing can be found on your device or servers. They don't store any of the messages on the servers. So yeah, military level encrypted chats and file transfers, and deletes the chats from all channels and devices instantly. So it's really nice in that respect. You have Secure Mail, offers a private and secure end-to-end encrypted mail servers with servers in Switzerland, works with every email address, and supports unlimited external recipients with encryption inside and outside the organization. They have Secure Send, basically self-destruct function on external inbox using Secure Send. Messages do not leave the server, cannot be intercepted, and unlimited file size transfers as well, which is nice because even Google sometimes limits the amount of size that you can send. Secure Pro is communications application offering where you can have secure voice, video calling, secure chat, self-destruct feature, secure email file transfer through any mobile device, tablet, or desktop. And they're directly utilizing the servers that they have in Switzerland. And you have the Secure Suite where all your data, password manager, secure data vault, secure file share, email, all in one are housed in one sort of piece of software. So specifically looking at secure and what it means for messaging in comparison to, say, Telegram, WhatsApp, Skype, and some of these other options. You could sign up anonymously. You don't need a phone number. Private contacts, no phone number. Add new contacts only by the SIM number. No contact or social mining. Self-destructible in chats, which is unlike in some of these other items that you have in here. End-to-end encryption by default. Encrypted chats with non-app users. Service runs on its own servers and doesn't use AWS or Microsoft Azure. And then continuing on, no third-party access, no user data collection, no open source. And so you can kind of see the benefit of utilizing secure. You're paying a little bit of money to not have the hassle of your data being utilized against you for advertising or having it stored on some server that could be hacked. Or say you're utilizing WhatsApp and you don't necessarily trust Amazon, but all that data could be being stored on an Amazon Web Service server. So it just kind of gives you that opportunity to make sure you understand where your data is being stored. You're paying a little bit of a fee, but at the end of the day, you can trust it, right? It's not subject to patriot laws and stuff like that that have occurred in the United States as of late. Then you have the exact comparison for email. This is comparing Gmail, Outlook, and a few others as well. End-to-end encryption, standard secure send encryption emails to anybody, email protection with personalized keys, unlimited messages, secure reply, advanced filtering, that's a feature for all of them, but it also includes advanced filtering, unlimited secure file transfers, monitor modules, that sort of material. One key thing, which I didn't realize, but your calendars are secure, which apparently on Google Mail and Outlook, not necessarily true unless you, I guess, put it that way, or you personally encrypt it somehow. No open source. Service runs on its own servers, which I think is important. The only other one that does that is Microsoft with Outlook. Not subject to the Patriot Law or Patriot Act, and aligns with the SWIS laws, basically the Federal Act of Data Protection. So that's nice in that respect. So yeah, I think that this is one of the key things that I want to just kind of highlight specifically is this growing total addressable market. People are tired. People don't want their data to be filtered. People don't want their data to be taken off websites as a whole. You can just see the benefit. It's growing at 10% compound annual growth rate between this year and 2027, growing from 150 billion today to over almost 180 billion in 2027 timeframe. So it's growing rather quickly, and I don't think people necessarily understand. Just by paying a small fee, I think that they're charging approximately $10 to $15 a month per user. You have that opportunity to not necessarily get your data stolen. This is great for small businesses, great for personal use. I know plenty of people that refuse to use Facebook, refuse to use all these different platforms for this purpose, for the fact that they know that they're being data mined. They are the product. So they are able to use all these products for free, but at the end of the day, they're the actual product, right? They're the ones that are being farmed for data mining and stuff of the like. So I know plenty of people that would personally utilize a service like this, or potentially, Proton or something of the like, which is very similar and very comparable. And that's what they're going after. They're not going after being the next Gmail or anything the like. They're providing a small niche for people that are okay paying a little extra for that security, knowing that they're going to be secure. And I do encourage you guys to look at GlobeX data. I'll leave the links down in the description. A little bit about this investor presentation will be down there, as well as some of the information with respect to GlobeX. And I really encourage you guys to take a quick look at the stock as well. It's done relatively well. It's been able to hold its own throughout the year, which can't be said for all stocks in 2022 as of late. Be sure to check out ticker symbol SWISF on the OTC markets, potential to be uplisting on the NASDAQ here in the next couple quarters as well. And hopefully when we get Elaine, we can talk a little bit more about that in the coming weeks. So I appreciate you guys listening to me chat for a little bit about GlobeX. Hopefully you guys have an opportunity to look at not only the product, but also the stock as well. So I hope to see you guys in the next video. Have a great evening and cheers.